Yeah.
That's part of the reason why it took me so long to get in. And StreamYard acted like it wasn't even there.
Hey, Jack. All right. You got this stuff?
Yeah. All cleaned in oil.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's get it on.
Who are these guys?
It's my theme music. Every good hero should have some.
Hot damn, it's time to get down to the jam. It's time to get down, it's time to get down, it's time to get down to the jam. I said it's time to get down to the knowledge, gonna get on down with the know. On the morning coffee show, on morning coffee with Keith, here on Pop Culture Minefield.
Excuse me, can I get a cup of coffee? Black?
Can't you see we talking? White?
Good morning, everybody. Well, little bit of a took a while to get on the line here, but we are here, and I just want to say howdy. First of all, let me just say right off the bat, condolences to the family and friends and fans of Robert Redford. That guy was an incredible force. And I'm pretty sure by now, some of you who might not be as familiar with Robert Redford's work outside of, for a lot of you younger fans, outside of having seen him in a Marvel movie, I think if you were to try to sum up what he actually meant and what are some of his best pieces of work, that is a list too long to go through. But if I had to pick 3 films right off the bat that you should probably watch, it would be I'm gonna pick 3 different films. I'm gonna pick Barefoot in the Park, Brubaker, it's another one. Let's see, and my third one is 3 Days of the Condor. 3 different films, 3 different looks at Robert Redford. The last one was the inspiration for how they approached Captain America: The Winter Soldier. 3 Days of the Condor was the inspiration for how they approached that film. The other 2, I'll be very surprised if anyone under the age of 30 has actually heard of Barefoot in the Park. I'll admit that. I'll be very surprised. Barefoot in the Park is there was for a while in Hollywood this thing, the same way they are with comic books now, where Hollywood just seemed to want to take plays that were hits on Broadway and turn them into movies. And that's exactly what that was. But I have a soft spot for that film because it was actually the first film I remember seeing that had actually been turned into a television series for a while. And the way they decided to adapt it I think it was Gary Marshall, one of his earliest projects, and the choice to replace Robert Redford and Jane Fonda with a black couple was different. Okay, I'm pretty sure a lot of the southern stations didn't like it too much, but but yeah, I enjoyed that film, and I enjoyed their chemistry. Definitely a play that. Thanks, Tom. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute now, Tom. Are you saying it's Brubaker or Barefoot in the Park? Anyway, it's a relationship film, and it's definitely one that I think anybody can actually watch, enjoy, and understand. So,
Right.
how about you, Ben? What was your favorite Robert Redford film?
So my introduction to Redford came in The Sting.
Oh, good one. Good one.
But in my household, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid was like a religion to my stepfathers. So those were the big ones for me. Although I actually, I got to lean into the obvious here. All the President's Men.
Oh yeah.
If I had to put it down to three, those are the three that I would say. If you want to see Redford at his best, definitely Butch and Sundance was kind of him being at his casual best. All the President's Men was, I think, the best version of his intensity. And The Sting was him actually kind of being almost comedic.
Yeah.
It's three different movies, three very different approaches. Although Barefoot in the Park was, it's one of the few stage plays I've seen that that reminds me of, oddly enough, Friends, because it's technically really about no big single thing. It's them trying to learn to live together.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, that's the same time period where you have movies like The Apartment.
Right. Well, and this is, bear in mind who wrote this play, which is Neil freaking Simon.
Well, Neil Simon was to writing plays about relationships between different types of people, as Stephen King was to writing horror. And I will tell you this again. I've said this with Gary and everything else. I know there are a lot of you out there, just to take an aside here with Neil Simon. I know there are a lot of you out here that think that Clue was this original movie. It wasn't. It's loosely based on a Neil Simon play that was done way better and was really savage about its subject matter, whereas Clue was trying to quote unquote be more like the game. Neil Simon's version was just freaking funny, and you couldn't make that today. Some of those jokes would be deemed not very appropriate.
Right.
But it was a comedy that was very savage on many levels because it was taking aim really at everything. But that's beside the point. That's beside the point.
Yeah. Redford had tremendous range.
Oh God, yes. He had to overcome. This is gonna sound weird, but he had to overcome his looks. He was so good looking. Some people were afraid to use him because he was so good looking. And he had to overcome that. I know that sounds kind of weird, but those of you who have, since he's passed away, if you go back and look, just go as far back to the very beginning of his career. This is the guy that was pretty much cursed with good looks.
Yeah.
And his talent he had to work real hard to get what he got.
Mhm.
You know, I still think his appearance on Twilight Zone is still one of the top 10 best ever.
Yeah.
And he only did it one time, but it was a very effective episode.
Yeah.
And a really good example of, again, for all you up and coming young actors and others, you need to see if you could do that one. I know that's you print it out sometime and perform it.
Mhm.
You know, that episode of Twilight Zone, or even Barefoot in the Park. You know, I think you'll have a lot of respect for it. It would have been easy for him to have found himself pigeonholed in certain parts, especially whenever he did romantic films.
Oh yeah.
The same way Sandra Bullock got so pigeonholed that she had to break out of doing that.
Mhm.
Robert Redford had to do that and take on many different types of roles. Now, having seen a lot of his early work, especially stuff like early, what am I saying? Early. Having once you get to the middle part of his career in the 1970s, you have to understand that Redford and Walter Matthau were basically the idea candidates before they decided to go a different direction to play Kirk and McCoy in Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Because they weren't going to have the original TV cast. They were television. And so the idea was, picking big screen actors to be on the big screen. And
That's
Robert
a
Redford.
stupid idea.
No, that's the way Hollywood was back then. If you were on TV, you did not have a big screen career because you were on TV. That is the way it was.
Mhm.
And it was a stupid way.
Right.
Again,
It was the 70s. Bear in mind.
No. It wasn't just the 70s. It wasn't just the 70s. That did not change until I'd say the 80s.
Yeah. Well, you didn't have a lot of because in the 70s there was the Hollywood, there was the motion picture set, and then there was the television set, and those two rarely, if ever, cross lines.
Yep.
It was like you had the real stars and then the TV stars.
Yep. That's exactly how it was thought. All the real stars were in the movies. If you're on TV, that's just TV, and whatever.
Yeah, you had a steady paycheck, but you didn't have a big one.
So it was the same thing as sort of like being called up to the majors to go from television to film. But very rarely did anybody have any real success doing that.
Yeah.
I know, Tom, I know. Like I said, that was the initial idea, that if they were going to do the big screen Star Trek, that it was going to be Robert Redford and Walter Matthau. And
I can imagine it, but it's like a nightmare.
No, I think it would have been kind of cool. I think it would have been kind of cool. Now, would it have worked? I'm not saying that, but I think it would have been cool. And
right. No.
Given the kinds of characters that Redford was trying to play, he wanted to play, it would have been different. Matthau just would have been Matthau.
Yeah, and that's it would have been like Odd Couple in space, really.
In a way. I mean,
but I gotta wonder who did they aim for Spock?
Aha! that is the big question, and I'm gonna tell you, the person that originally had gone up for the part back when it was first being cast for the television series, it was Martin Landau.
Martin Landau, who Nimoy beat out not once, not twice, but 3 times.
So Martin
took over for him on Mission Impossible.
Yeah, but also you have to understand something about Martin Landau. Martin Landau was the one for whom became the prototype for all of the James Bond right-hand bad guys. Okay, North by Northwest was the prototype for all the James Bond films. And so Martin Landau's character became the prototype for all of the main right-hand henchmen for all the Bond films. I'm sure you remember Gary talking about that, Martin, on a lot of those. But that was Martin Landau, and Landau had the kind of face, and he could do the makeup and all of that. Martin Landau and Robert Redford as Kirk and Spock, with Walter Matthau as McCoy. Yeah, that was the original plan before they decided, you know what, we'll have the TV people, you know.
Right.
They did it begrudgingly, okay? They did not go at this going, oh, we're going to make this movie, we're going to make so much money. That's not the way they approached it. It's like, oh, man, yeah, we better just go with the TV people.
Yeah, I would I would like to see the public reaction. I mean, they love that generation, that public, the public that grew up with Star Trek being aired as it was shot. Not
Yes.
people like me. People like me who saw Star Trek on reruns and still loved it. Imagine being one of the the OG audience, and you go and they say to you, "We're gonna do a Star Trek movie," and they change you the trio. Yeah,
Oh,
right.
no,
That's what's gonna work. Yeah.
see, Trek fans I don't think Trek fans would have stood for that, because even in the era, to me, and bear in mind, I was like, what, 11? So, there was never any question of it ever being anybody else. And I don't think Trek fans at the time would have stood for it, because they had been working so hard. They'd been working so hard for, bringing Trek back, even into the 70s, more than 10 years after the show ended.
I look at it this way. My response is that casting is still way better than anything we got with K-Trek right now. Whether it's Strange New Hurls or Dysfunctory or Lower Drek or
Wait. Keith, at least you have to give them props for. I know you don't like the likeness. I do, but Zachary Quinto, he looks like a young Spock. And
no, I didn't say anything about the
movies,
the JJ films.
Oh,
I said any of the stuff we have right now with K-Trek. Okay, that's Kelvin Timeline films. I don't mind that cast because they've got chemistry, and if it wasn't
Carl Urban, he was McCoy.
He still is. He wants to do it. The entire cast want to get back together. That's the other thing about this. I think with SkyDance now running the show, okay. Okay. The latest I've heard on all of that is that it's looking more and more likely that SkyDance may have figured out a way of ending our
suffering,
discomfort, and suffering a little early. They may have figured out a way of getting rid of Kurtzman early. The original timeline was it was going to be about a year. By this time next year. The rumor is they may have gotten it down to this December. But that's a rumor, okay? So no celebrating yet, because we've all seen how that goes. Doesn't work out very well.
Dude, I will celebrate only when I see at least 5 good episodes, and they have to be contiguous of any Star Trek thing. Until I see that happening, I won't believe anything and anyone. No promises in the wind.
I look at it this way. I have a lot of faith in the fact that, again, the old adage about not pissing off a billionaire that has attitude. Okay. Kurtzman has survived a lot, but again, he's not a billionaire. He still has to have his check signed. And the person that's currently in charge signing his checks doesn't like him very much. That's just the long and short of it. And after Section 31, again, the word on that one is that you have people who are the new owners, people coming in to own something. And one of the people that technically will be working for you went off and spent a bunch of money in a really dumb way. And now you've just taken over. The word is that David Ellison and his people didn't like that Section 31 movie at all.
Nobody liked it.
Yeah, no, but it's worse. They thought it was a waste of time and most definitely a waste of money. It was a complete waste of money the way they made it. Your lead actress, you didn't have very much time with her. She was limited in time in which to make it. And there have been no good answers when it came to trying to explain why this entire thing was made. So you've just basically taken a couple $1 million and set it on fire in front of the new owner. Okay, that's basically what he did. So any thought that he was going to keep doing this for any length of time or get any support, that was out the window. Any new contract was going to have so many things, addendums to it, that it would have been next to impossible for Kurtzman to keep his job. What I had heard was there was a new contract drawn up, but it was done without the participation of Kurtzman and his company. It was drawn up to basically, it's a new contract that basically said, hey, all that stuff we agreed to before, this is the exact opposite. Now you will play by our rules. From here on out, you are an employee. You work for us. And it was specifically drawn up for him to just go, hey, I'm not signing that. I mean, he only had two choices: the window or the stairs. So, and considering Mr. Ellison, the window probably overlooking a pool of sharks, and the stairs, well, let's just say, think of the tallest building we have in the United States, and that would have been Kurtzman. So, take your picks. You spin the wheel, you take your chances. Speaking of which, various articles have been look, just to wrap up the whole thing about Redford, though, let me at least do that. An incredible artist, actor, activist, visionary, director. I mean, Ordinary People was everywhere. When that movie came out, Ordinary People was everywhere.
That was, I think, Redford was the whole reason I got cast in our high school version of Ordinary People.
Wow, dude. Wow.
Because they were looking for a blonde dude to play the psychiatrist. Not that I played the lead, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. I remember. I remember that film. But again, he will definitely be missed. And for those of you out there not familiar with Redford, Mr. Redford and his career, do yourself a favor and check it out, because this guy was around long enough to have many different periods in his career, like a Sean Connery, you know, where this wasn't just about, well, in the 70s. No, this guy had been acting since the 50s.
The 60s, yeah, 50s and 60s. We were lucky to have him for almost 90 years.
Yeah, he almost, oh man, I can't believe how close he was.
Right? But,
and again, I understand how odd it might seem, but I would have loved the opportunity to see his take on Captain Kirk. That's all I'm saying. I would have loved to have seen his take on it, because it couldn't have been any worse than any of the other actors that have had a shot at it. any of the ones that have come after William Shatner. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
I'm just trying to see him in Wrath of Khan.
I don't
As
think they would
Khan.
have gone that far. You know,
Or better yet, and Robert Redford as Joachim.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that knowing Redford's delivery, thinking of some of Shatner's best lines in that movie delivered as Robert Redford.
I don't think, for one thing, Wrath of Khan was a direct response to the fact that the first movie wasn't received very well.
Right.
I mean, the screenplay for Star Trek, all of the problems they had on set would not have been problems if Redford had been cast. Let me put it to you that way.
Right.
You had script problems where the script was constantly being rewritten. That would not have been a problem had Redford been cast. That script would have been solid and locked and ready to go. Because you're not dealing with people. Look, the thing about having Redford and Walter Matthau and whoever else they probably would have cast, you would not have had all the problems that they had during the making of that film when they had the TV cast. That just would not have been a problem. So I think the film would have done well. I don't think it would have been a box office, it would have rewritten history, but I don't think it would have been a disaster.
Right.
Would it have gotten a sequel? Who knows? But if it had, it would have been written more like the first film. So,
well, I'm just trying to imagine Redford saying, Khan, I'm laughing at the superior intellect. It's just
again, it's Tom Baker's putting it right. Robert Redford, 3 Days of the Condor. Yeah, he's Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
He is Captain Kirk. You may not want to admit it because you can't see it, but if you've seen all his movies, stuff like Brubaker and 3 Days of the Condor, yeah, he's Captain Kirk.
I disagree.
He's a different kind of Kirk, but he had a lot of stuff.
He could have pulled off Kirk.
Yes,
he's one of the few actors I could believe could pull off Kirk better than Shatner did.
I disagree.
Well, bear in mind, that's a high bar. That is an extremely high bar.
Yeah, it's a high bar.
But I think Redford is like the only person who could have done it.
This is how I see it. I would have completely and entirely buy on the concept of Robert Redford being an admiral and being the main mentor of Kirk. You could say when you introduce the character, you could say, "Oh, that now I see this attitude of Kirk derives from that." That's how I would have seen it. I don't see the character of the 3 Days of the Condor as Kirk because, well, maybe at the end of the movie, because something that we have never seen on Kirk is doubt. And in for 2/3 of the movie, that character, he's doubting everything. He's doubting himself. He's completely out of the water.
Yes.
I mean no disrespect to the character. That character should have been like that. But that is not that character. I don't see that character being a representation of Kirk. Maybe Academy Kirk. Maybe.
Are you talking Wrath of Khan?
Or
I'm
talking about the 3 Days of the Condor. The character of the 3 Days of the Condor.
Okay.
I don't think he is a good representation or can be extrapolated to Captain Kirk. Maybe Cadet.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I'm following you now. It's like what? But yeah, no.
Tom Baker, Gregory Peck would have been too stoic. He would have been too stoic as trying to be Captain Kirk.
Right.
He's not someone that you could see as coming up with some of the things that trying to create something to happen on the fly. That wasn't really his strong suit, even though the character he played in Horatio Hornblower was one of that movie that he was in. Gregory Peck's Horatio Hornblower was one of the inspirations for Star Trek and for the character of Kirk and Pike, really. I could see Gregory Peck as a version of Pike, but I couldn't see him as Kirk. But anyway, we've gone completely away from the topic that we're here to talk about today.
Right.
But again, I'm just saying to anyone out there that has never sat down to watch a Robert Redford film, do yourself a favor and just choose a handful and watch. Good morning, Penny.
Good morning, Penny.
Penny.
I think that Robert Redford was just one of those. In fact, you could just sit and watch like one movie from each period of his career. Take a movie from the 60s, a movie from the 70s, a movie from the 80s. And
I mean, we could do an entire show on Redford's career.
Yeah, we should probably do that. I would feel good doing that if we had Gary with us.
Probably, but yeah, because I'm not nearly the expert that you guys are.
I would love to hear Gary's view on Walter Matthau and
as Scott McCoy.
Yeah, and on Robert Redford as Kirk and Martin Landau as Spock and whoever else they would cast as all the other characters. So that would be interesting. That's Anima, the lovely Anima. But today we are here to discuss Paramount Discovery and the positive and negatives of them owning Warner Brothers. Okay. This is a big deal. Now, I know there are some out there that are like, oh, man, they don't need to do this. Well, yeah, they probably don't. But the reason why they are doing it.
Warner do.
Well, it's not often.
Warner.
It's not often that a major studio like Warner Brothers is up for sale. That's the long and short of it. And outside of Disney, there are a lot of different studios out there that wouldn't mind taking a shot. Sony, Amazon, Netflix, Comcast. But out of all of them, I personally would not mind at all if Paramount bought it. I think, in my opinion, that is a better fit than a lot of the others. Mainly because David Ellison is someone who seems to be one of us. He loves his science fiction films. He loves his comic books and comic book movies. It's part of the reason why they've participated in helping to make certain films. It also kind of helps when, your father is probably one of the richest people on the planet, but he's managed to create something and eke out a career. And right now, I think taking over Warner Brothers isn't just about taking Warner Brothers. I think it's also getting David Zaslav also. See, you talk about any other company, I cannot see Zaslav joining up with Amazon and being happy about it. I can't see Zaslav wanting to work with Netflix. Netflix has a lot of problems going on. Number one, has anybody seen all the artwork for the upcoming season of The Witcher? And yeah, my reaction, I had the same reaction. Is that still going? Yes, it is. With the people that basically got rid of Henry Cavill.
Right.
And the audience.
Say what?
And with him, they got rid of the whole audience too.
Yes.
Yes.
And Mr.
Good luck, mate.
Yeah, Cavill made that character his. I mean,
of course. Well, I mean, it was due to
No.
fan casting. Is really what it was. And
yeah,
I wouldn't say Cavill make the character his. I would say he completely metamorphosized into the Witcher.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's how he did it. I mean, he completely, he became Geralt, you know. Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
I remember when they first announced in the show and the casting, I said, that's not gonna work. Then I saw the first picture and that those armor isn't gonna work. And then I saw the picture of him. I said,
right.
Okay, he's Geralt. Okay.
It was the picture of him bathing, and every woman I have ever known going.
No. The
Wow.
first picture of him that I saw was he was giving the back his back to the camera, looking back, but you could see the scars, the hairdo, and most importantly the two swords. And I said, well, I want my crow with a little less salt, please.
Unfortunately, you had a showrunner who wasn't interested in using the books or the source material or anything like that, and just writing what she wanted. And the thing is that Netflix is crawling still with people like that. So Zaslav isn't going to do very well trying to work with Netflix. I think Zaslav would work out best with Paramount, and I'll tell you why. I heard somebody talk about this the other day, and it's like I just thought to myself, wow, that's a neat idea if they are able to do it. Zaslav definitely wants to be a part of whatever ends up happening with Warner Brothers after a merger, sale, whatever. Okay. He's already shown an ability to be able to clean up a lot of mess. My idea, and even though they've already announced, even though Paramount and David Ellison have already announced what they're going to do with it, if they can get Warner Brothers, I think they can change. I think putting Zaslav in charge of CBS would be the best thing ever. He would clean up CBS like that. There's a lot of people, I think, at CBS that still got to go. They just got to go. And just like when he came in with Warner Brothers, I don't think he would be afraid of getting rid of people. You know? He would do his due diligence. He'd look at everybody's work. He'd have a list of people that, okay, these people can stay. The rest of you, anybody's name who I did not read, guess what? You got your choice. The window of the stairs. I think he would put the fear of whatever in all those people to do the best job possible. He wouldn't stand for a lot of mess out of people.
I guess the important question to me there is, would he reverse the current trend in Hollywood against fans being part of the decision-making process?
Has he up to this point done that?
That's a good question.
Because
I don't know.
Because here's the thing. Zaslav isn't about one thing or the other. The only thing he's about is the money. And that really is something that Hollywood has lost. You can be, look, you can be either for something or not. You can be a fan, or you can be someone who's never heard of something. Let me use Star Trek as an example. There have been people that weren't fans of Star Trek who got an opportunity to work on it and have become dedicated fans. They got it. They understood it. They were able to do the work and understand that, hey, you know, this is something unlike what I'm used to. But you know what? I get it. I understand what they're shooting for. I understand where they're at with this. And at the top of the list is Nicholas Meyer. He was not a Star Trek fan when he did Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, but he understood it. He got it.
We'll see. And I think in that case, I mean, but one of the things that we have been looking at is people who are distinctly not fans and Hollywood throwing people at projects who are specifically not fans of it.
No, that's not Zaslav. Zaslav wants to see the money. Okay, and again, I agree with you. That's not only a trend; it seems to be a lot of people are dedicated towards that. A good example of that is Marvel. You know, you had Kevin Feige telling everybody, "I'm a fan. I've read comic books." Meanwhile, all of his everybody directly underneath him are enforcing this policy of not hiring fans.
Right.
Okay. You can't really move forward and be successful if out one side of your mouth you're saying one thing to the fans, and out the other side of your mouth you're doing stuff that not only would they dislike, but you're actually going against them.
Exactly.
And so that's part of the reason why Zaslav is not that well liked by many people in Hollywood. Zaslav is not one of them.
Right.
He doesn't have the same background. He comes from cable. Okay? They don't like him because he's quote unquote not one of the film people, even though you got a lot of people who are working in this industry, working in Hollywood, working in film, who are acting counter to the way things were just 20 years ago.
Right.
Used to be, if you had a project and you spent $100 million on it, you were expected to at least be trying to make something where you could at least get the $100 million back.
Right.
Okay. You've got so many people operating as if the money doesn't mean anything, as if it's an afterthought. Zaslav doesn't operate like that. So if I were David Ellison, I'd tell Zaslav, you know what? Not only do I want you working with me, I'll let you run CBS however you want. Do what you did with Warner Brothers to CBS. That's what I'd tell him. You know, if anybody has a problem with it, you have them see me. That's it. I'd let him loose. I would let him loose at CBS. And I'm sure that he would find all of the lollygaggers, the lazies, the creatively bankrupt, all those people, and he'd just ship them off. He'd tell them, you know, you got to go. It's time to go. Got to go, got to go. 2, 3 at a time. Got to go, got to go. And I would love to see that again. You know, I don't see how he would work at Amazon. I don't see them welcoming in someone like a Zaslav. You know, Zaslav's the kind of person who he's very upfront. It really is about the money. Okay. I don't treat him like a lot of those other people because I understand what he's going for. He's not trying to fool you. He's not going to sit in front of you going, I've read all these. What are these things again? These comic books. Yeah. He's not trying to lie to you. He's not trying to get on your side. He is what he is. He's about the money. And that's as a business, that's exactly what they should all be about.
Right.
And we've lost that. So that's one of those positives going for that. A negative would be, again, you got people talking about, wow, there's just too few of these classic studios around, and we're shrinking the ability to be able to have original and unique voices and blah 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 blah. Look, let me tell you something. I agree that is a bad thing. But here's the thing. For all the talk about original, unique voices and everything within the entertainment industry and Hollywood in particular, Amazon, Netflix, even Disney have done jack all about that. Their only thing seems to be, hey, why don't we do something kind of crazy and just switch the casting on this character? Let's sex swap or age swap or race swap these characters. That's a way to go, and that seems to be the only trick they got. And since starting
new and edgy,
with Pop Culture Minefield with Gary, my whole thing is there are a lot of actors and actresses who they enjoy it because it's work for them. Okay? You've done jack all for everybody else. All of the writers of original material who, for whatever reason, can't seem to get any of these studio heads, any of these producers that work for these studios to give their material an opportunity to be seen. Ironically, you're still choosing material by these so-called white guys who seem to get everything. You're still choosing their material. You're just altering it and making stuff different for the actors. But you're not doing anything for the writers and other creatives. That's part of the reason why I'm not down with that movement, because I've noticed that they're just not doing anything. They seem to be almost obsessed with changing a lot of the stuff that already is. And again, Marvel, especially Kevin Feige, you decide to do, as an example, the Thunderbolts. You wanted to put together a character that you could have that's unique. Okay, well, you decide to cast a bunch of characters who aren't necessarily a part of the Thunderbolts according to the original comics. And then on top of that, you decide to choose one character, their version of Superman, and you decide to cast Stephen Yeun to play it. A guy who obviously is different racially than the way the character is in the comics. Now remember, that's a choice. You chose that character to be in the movie. My argument is, why didn't you just pick the Blue Marvel? There would have been no argument at all. It's pretty simple. Marvel's version of Superman who's black. And there is absolutely no answer from Kevin or any of his people. They got none. They have none. You pick up an actor like Yahya Abdul-Mateen, and you decide to waste him because he's going to play Wonder Man. The only reason why you're doing it is because you want people to get mad about it. You love the outrage. My whole argument is, hey, when you guys are going to get around to doing Luke Cage again?
Right.
When you guys are going to do that? When are you guys going to get around to casting or recasting Black Panther? Because you have an actor here who could do either one of those parts, if not more. And you're going to waste him because you are trying to make some sort of dramatic point by casting him as a white character. A character that we've already seen in Captain America, the First Avenger. And you're going out of your way to make him black. The same way the Watchmen TV show did. Not for any reason other than the fact that you know the reaction you're going to get. And you want that reaction because you are vapid. You've got nothing in terms of story. You add nothing. You just want to be an online instigator.
Trying to be eggy and
Yeah, but there are so many characters of color. There are so many female characters. It's like I've been saying for years. DC and Marvel have been around now. Each company's been around almost 100 years. But if you look at the way Hollywood has adapted or worked with these companies, they've barely scratched the surface of the number of characters that they've adapted. Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. That's not very many characters overall. And it's amazing to me, given the sheer number of characters that both companies have, that they found their way to changing the race or sex of certain characters already, even though they haven't gotten around to the rest of the characters in each company's history. That's mind-boggling to me. You know, nobody's done Black Lightning for the big screen. I think the only person who's upset about James Gunn is Greg Berlanti, who was a friend of Zaslav. Zaslav and he are still friends. But Zaslav decided, no, I'm not going to give it to Greg Berlanti. He's had it all this time. And again, I will say, for those of you who thought that Zaslav did a bad thing or miscalculated, let me just say this. One of the biggest characters out of the most recent Superman film is Mr. Terrific.
Yeah.
I've had multiple conversations with people who I knew for a fact were either big fans of or at least had watched a lot of the Arrowverse TV shows in the CW and didn't remember actor Hank Ketchum playing Mr. Terrific on Arrow for years.
No one realized that, even though Jenna Ortega.
And you see how everybody reacted to Mr. Terrific being in James Gunn's movie? That never happened on Arrow for that character. Why? Because they made all these changes to the character. Number one of which, okay, big shot here. Ready? They decided to make him gay.
The Arrowverse version? Yeah.
Yeah. They did all this. And again, it's not about whether or not he's gay or not. What I'm saying is, you've never had this character before, and you go out of your way to just change the character. Okay. How's the rest of what the character is? How's the writing? The acting? How's everything else?
And I have to say, you know, having seen both versions of the character, God, you know, there is absolutely it's easy to miss the Arrowverse version of Mr. Terrific by comparison to the Gunn version. It is just, I mean, yeah, yeah, and it is the Gunn version is so much better because he's unapologetically who he is.
That's right. That's the way the character is in the comics.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Berlanti went out of his way to make all these changes. And you realize when you watch something like this that, again, I said it before about Berlanti. I'm pretty sure he is a comic book fan.
Mhm.
but he's a comic book fan that wants to go a particular direction to prove a point. And I think Zaslav didn't want to give him DC because of that. It's like there's no time for that. I want to make money.
Yeah. Right.
I'm not just your friend. I want to make money. And I'm not saying there's no room for that. But this is my other argument. There are so many characters. Well before they started monkeying with the characters, there are so many characters that fit that.
Mhm.
That
Well, I
for
mean,
whatever
it's
reason have never been touched. They've
right.
never been given an opportunity.
Well, and what they did, I mean, just to look at what the CW did with Arrow entirely, they turned him into Batman, is what they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
Yeah.
you know,
There's no other way to see it.
but also for the Flash television series, they had in a weird sort of way, if you're a member of the cast of that show, you can at least take solace in the fact that a storyline that you had in your first season kind of got picked up and moved forward by this movie, Superman. Because in it, in the movie Superman, when Lex decides to show the footage from his parents' message, and he walks inside of a building, that's Stag Industries.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what it says on the outside, Stag.
Yep.
Simon Stagg is a character who you meet on The Flash for one episode. And so you've already met Simon Stagg. You get a chance to see his daughter, and by extension, his son-in-law, and by extension, grandson, in the Superman movie. You know, they got good at promising or giving hints for things that they never paid off. Ferris Airline never did anything with it, even though both in the Berlanti Arrowverse, the Flash show, and on the 90s The Flash television series, both of them had references to Ferris, even though they never paid any of that stuff off. They never had any intention of doing it, is what I'm trying to say. They use a lot of stuff to keep you there. They do a lot of these little tricks to keep you in place. Berlanti supposedly had wanted to have a lot of these characters, but it's also known that he was wanting to make changes to certain characters to fit more of his worldview. And that was part of the reason why they did not give him permission to do that. So Zaslav decided, hey, we're friends, but I'm not going to give you this. I'm not going to give you DC. I'm not going to do it. I don't need the hassle. And again, I want to make money. You know, you want to try to score points, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You have a certain belief. We're friends. It's great. But that's not the direction that we need to go. And you still got a lot of these actors appearing at conventions talking about, oh, man, oh, they're doing us a great disservice. I mean, you got everything you need. We got it all right here. Well, you don't. Because some of you guys are way too old, for one thing, to be playing those characters. Your skills do not match creatively where James Gunn wants to go. So you're never really going to get hired for this. I'm pretty sure he'd be willing to pick some of you guys up to play different parts, which is what, if you haven't heard, supposedly he's been talking to Henry Cavill. So Cavill might actually make a return to the DC universe, but not as Superman.
I mean,
As long as it's not General Zod.
right? No, yeah, no. I mean, uh, now I can't remember which Chris it is that played the human play the Human Torch and Captain America. Why can I
Evans.
not remember Chris Evans? Yeah. So yeah, no, that'd be one of those things that would be interesting to see Cavill play a second DC character.
It'd be fantastic.
Right.
Batman.
The rumor is that
Batman.
well, hold on. That's the rumor. That is Batman. That he's being seen for Batman. If he gets Batman,
oh, it's fucking over.
Over. Oh, my friend, that would be
no one else will ever be able to play the part again.
Oh.
Even Ben Affleck is like, oh my god, no.
Yeah, Ben Affleck would be going, just take all my movies back.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Gunn is someone who I really wouldn't underestimate, and I know there are some out there who may not be excited for some of the creative decisions that he's had. And let me just be also one of the first to tell you, look, not everything he's done I'm happy about, but I still like what he's doing. He's trying stuff. He's playing with the house's money ultimately. Okay, this is not. After what I have seen and all the different people that have had opportunities, including Greg Berlanti, look, I'm not going to sit here and say Greg Berlanti was the worst person ever. I still give him props for Superman and Lois. That is a fantastic show that he put together. Okay, I wish he had found a way of doing something like that with the entire Arrowverse. And don't get me started on Legends of whatever, because that to me that'll always be called the leftover show. You had an opportunity to try something different, and you went that direction and turned it into what it was. It's never good when I'm able to figure out how the entire plot of your pilot episode is going to go. You've lost me if I can figure that out. I just think that I just think we have a better opportunity to possibly see more from the DCIP with Gunn than with anybody else at this point. That's just my view. Now, I know there are some out there that are pulling for Netflix to get it so that we might get a shot at having at finishing the Justice League trilogy from Zack Snyder.
Really?
That's the word. Since he's in with Netflix, if Netflix gets it, Netflix is considering going ahead and making Justice League 2 and 3.
Oh my god. Well, as I don't have problem with Snyder being the director and the director of photography. I don't have problem with that. As long as he doesn't have any input in the writing, everything would be good work. Man, okay, let me be honest, and I'm sorry. I know that I will garner the wrath of this Zach's most
ardent fans.
Yeah. I had I like very, very much. I could say I love 300 and of course Watchmen. To me, and it's a personal opinion, is my favorite superhero movie yet. However, he makes an excellent visual job, but he works better when he's translating other people's material, because his particular writing, oh my god. And that's okay. No, not everybody can be an ace on everything. He has his strong point and he has his weak point. Writing is his weak point.
Yeah.
You see, and then you have the things like Batman versus Superman and the Justice League. You see, you watch Batman versus Superman, the theatrical version, and it's a horrible movie. You see the director's cut, and it's not horrible, but it's still bad. But at least something gets an explanation.
Yeah.
In Snyder's version of Batman versus Superman,
Yeah.
aka Super Orphan Fight.
Is that any worse than Therapy Squad that we got?
I don't know. I haven't seen that.
Because I'm telling you, having watched that entire movie, that's basically what it is. It's a therapy session. That entire movie is all about therapy. Thunderbolts.
No,
it's Therapy Squad.
Haven't seen it yet.
No, I'm not gonna tell you any plot details. I'm just saying that's what it is. It's all therapy.
Okay. And now then you have Justice League and Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is a different type of comparison, because the first one was snatched from his hand and morphed into something different on the fly, and of course everything done that way was going to be destined to be a mess. So I saw Justice League. I said, okay. I saw Zack Snyder Justice League and say, it's better. Still bad, but it's much better. So and then I saw that the Rebel Moon. Rebel Moon is what it's called.
Yeah.
Holy shit! No, but before that, I fell into the trap and saw the zombie movie because of the trailer, and the zombie movie was a big letdown. And then I saw Rebel Moon and said, "No, I cannot stand behind your writing, man. I can.
Right. Yeah.
I can. It hurts me physically."
No, I get it. Oh,
But
no, I do.
But you tell me. We have the script and we're gonna take Zack Snyder to direct it, and I will watch it, because as a director, I still like his work.
Mhm. I agree. I'm not one of those people sitting here going, "Man, Zack Snyder sure write a great." No, his writing isn't the best.
No,
but I wouldn't mind. Yeah, go ahead.
One thing that Rebel Moon suffers from is world building. It is bad world building, or incomplete world building, I should say. And bear in mind, didn't he write that as a Star Wars film that never got made? And he just basically took the property.
Yes. I will imagine a Star Destroyer powered by coal.
I will say this. To be fair, because I do like Zack Snyder a lot. To be fair, I have not watched his director's cut of Rebel Moon yet. I will be sitting down with that.
It exists?
Yeah. No, Netflix posted both of those. And I want to sit down and watch it, because what I'm hearing from people that I know that have, they say, just like with Justice League, it's like, wow, it's I don't know what happened with that first one, but the second one's actually really good. And it's like, okay, well,
no. Better does not mean good.
Hey, I'm just telling you,
Iron Fist good. Iron
Tell you
Fist
what I
good.
was told. I that's the reason I got to check it out. I'm going to check it out, and I'll make my own decision on that one. And again, before I get jumped by a lot of you Marvel heads out there, yeah, I did check out all 3 of the big Marvel MCU films this year, and they all sucked. You know, I mean, again, I guess I come from that generation of people that believe that actually having a finished script and not wasting money is a good thing. You know, I'm still like trying to figure out how that one works because, you know, you work at a place and your boss gives you a budget and or you tell your boss, I need X amount of dollars. And then you need an additional 100 million on top of that. And another 100 million on top of that. And another one. You keep asking for more money. And then when your product comes out and you can't cover the cost of what it took to make it, yet you still expect to not only still have a job, but on your next project, you repeat the formula. You give them your budget, and then you keep asking for more money.
Well,
and
look at it this way. It's not his fault that the audience is bigoted. Because I was told that was the real reason all that product failed. It is our fault, our bigots' fault. I need to get an whip and autoflagellate and say I am not a good person. I am not a good person.
Shinotsky, look, if it were up to me, I would fund you, man. Unfortunately, because you're able to actually complete some scripts, that just means you're persona non grata for a lot of Hollywood studios at this point.
Right? If you want to get picked up by a Hollywood agent, so you don't have a script done.
I mean, we seem to have entered backwards world now, and if that's the case, I got a couple scripts that I can send in that are completely unfinished, and let's just see how it goes. You know. Gambit, that makes one of us, man. Because again,
which one?
Which comment? The new 11:53 a.m. But I was surprised. I like Robert Pattinson. I believe he's a great actor. But God, that film is just not good. It's just not good. Okay, I believe there are way too many people that are going out of their way to be way too nice because it's 7. That's all, and it's a bad version of 7. It's 7. You know, and again, it's the dumbest group of detectives.
It's 7, but without Morgan Freeman's character.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, you got Jeffrey Wright saying, there are a lot of people that didn't like the fact I was black. I'm a black man saying your character was just written stupidly. You know, there are always going to be assholes, but your character was just written badly. You know, unfortunately, it's not so much that you're black, it's the fact that you've got the dumbest version of Bruce Wayne and James Gordon ever committed to film. I mean, am I wrong? I mean, because I've seen the movie, and it was just like, wow.
On the big screen, yes. On the big screen, yeah.
I mean, you guys aren't even small enough to even catch the short bus. Is how you're acting in that movie. I mean, you guys pretty much make the 66 version of that the just Einstein. So I'm just saying. Again, I like all the actors. I think the director's a talented guy, but I think he was full of shit when it came to him talking stuff about, oh yeah, I'm gonna have first Batman movie is gonna be just like the comics where he's a detective. Yeah, well, you made him the dumbest detective ever. He's the dumbest Batman of all time.
But he's a detective nonetheless.
He's a dumb
It's
detective.
a dumb detective, but a detective.
It's just wow. He is even Inspector Drebin, you know, would have to look at Robert Pattinson's Batman and it's like, are you serious?
I mean, and it was, still his, year one.
No,
that's not that's an excuse. That's in the year one comics, he is way smarter. It's the fact that
and actually it's not even year one because he's still got a full costume to begin with.
Yeah, it's like
true. The thugs at the beginning of the movie said they said for 2 years he has been prowling in the city. There's now, and that's another thing. The thugs are intimidating the new guys. Say, oh yes, there's this Batman guy. 2 years beating us up, and then the guy appears, and who is this guy dressed like a bat fucker?
Well, and plus he's never held his stealth. He's got no stealth skills.
Stomp.
Yeah, it's like, well, we're gonna wait until he gets to us. It's like, okay, you guys got to be the dumbest criminals ever. You're beating the blank out of somebody. I say, since he's taken so long, beat this guy some more and then leave. I mean, oh, wow. I mean, it's just, yeah. Didn't know if half the time it was like they were trying to make an art film, but then they were trying to make a detective movie, and then they were trying to, oh man, they were just trying all these things, and it just doesn't work for me. That entire movie doesn't work for me.
No, and at some point you have to remember that, man, this is supposedly one of the most intelligent man on the planet.
Yes. and
I can't.
I just
I seen the correct way to see this movie. The Batman is a parody.
Yes. That's exact, Martin. Thank you, my friend. Yes, it's a parody. It is a parody. And again, I know you're supposed to be this big Batman fan and writing and directing this, but you showed me that you're actually full of shit because you couldn't just write in Professor Pig. Oh, I wanted to create a character. I want to do a version of Riddler that you hadn't seen before. Now we've seen it. It's called Professor Pig. That character actually exists. You just did that. I mean, if you'd used Professor Pig, you would have had at least a part of the script where Batman was struggling whether or not I should catch this guy.
Well, it's the same thought process behind make Batman the Punisher and make Superman Batman. It's the same thought process. You have never seen those characters this way, and there's a good reason for it.
You're right, Shinosky. They made the Riddler into a live streamer. Yeah. Professor Pig is a character who should make you think a little bit. You should be conflicted because basically he is a supervillain version of Dexter is really what he is. That's it. He kills bad guys. He's a serial killer, yes, but he kills bad guys. So it should make the audience go, well, I don't know. He's killing bad guys. I don't know. I mean, that should have been what the movie was hinged on. And again, you didn't need to have Catwoman in the movie. She served no purpose in the movie except to have an incredibly beautiful woman dress up in skin tight leather, which, on a personal note,
Not going to object to that.
but it's just there's just a lot of bad decisions. You could have saved yourself so much time and money, and instead of trying to play this whole, he's still at the beginning of his career. Look, just cop to the fact that you didn't write a very tight script. Cop to the fact that this version of his character, he's still trying things. And again, I proudly said it before, and I'll say it again. That's emo Batman. But being emo has its privileges because it allows you to survive explosions that are not
in your face.
Yeah, in your face. And then it causes the police and other people who hate you to lose the ability to be able to do something that naturally people would have done, which is take your mask off.
Yeah,
before they move your body. Oh my gosh. Everybody's taking dumbbells here. You've written a script where nobody's acting logically, even though you're creating a film where it's predicated on intelligence and thinking. I mean, it's like a chess match, except that nobody's thinking of their next move. That entire movie, that's what it is, But hey, there are a lot of people that decided, I'm gonna give that thing some money, and that's fine, Let's just say, for all you fans of that film, just be glad I'm not running Warner Brothers, because I would have just said, look, it's been real. And it's been fun, but it hasn't been real fun, and I'm just not gonna do another one of those films. I'm sorry,
Well, at least let me say one good thing about the movie, and it is that when I went to see that movie, I went with my whole family because it's another Batman movie. Let's go. But my expectations were lower. The movie was less bad than I thought. It was a better product that I was expecting to watch.
Yeah.
You can imagine then how low were my expectations.
Well, yeah. Look. I get it, and we could go on for hours just like putting more screws to this film. But let's at least get back to the whole Paramount and Warner Brothers thing. Another plus is that I think DC Comics would be better suited under David Ellison. I think Ellison would having a billionaire be in charge of DC Comics means that he can just easily clean house. Look,
I don't know. We have a billionaire in charge of Amazon Prime.
Oh yeah, that's two different guys. Well, David Ellison is one of us that just happens to have been born has a dad that's very, 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 very wealthy. Okay. He is a big fan. And it's part of the reason why he's invested, quote unquote, some time into this whole Star Trek thing. The idea of having DC Comics now being a part of this whole company to where first and foremost, they can get the Star Trek license back. I think Star Trek in comic book form was better when DC Comics had it. Sorry, Marvel. I mean, I will give Marvel credit for at least the early Voyages comic, because early Voyages, that was a masterpiece in Star Trek comic book writing and art. Early Voyages, fantastic, but that's the only Star Trek thing that you know, as far as I'm concerned, they did very well. Zaslav has been trying to basically keep Warner Brothers afloat, given how much money they were in debt for by the time he actually took over. He's been working on trying to get a lot of that paid off, paid down. Which is the reason why I think with joining with Paramount, putting him in charge of CBS, he'd only be concerned about CBS. Focused only in on that. And I think he could do very well. But as a fan, especially of DC Comics, I know there are some out there going, well, Disney could stop right there. You've already gone off the rails. If you're one of those people thinking, well, Disney could, no, not going to happen. Not going to happen. Government's not going to allow Disney to buy up Warner Brothers. I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. And if it does, Iger will at least be dumb enough for the head of Universal to basically have fun with him again. You know, well, Disney's decided to try to buy Warner Brothers for about $15 billion. Head of Universal is like, how about 20? I'll take it for 20. Iger come in at 25. Universal is like, how about 30? I'll take it for 30. Iger come in, it's like 35. Suddenly, the head of Universal goes, yeah, I'm done. Tee-hee-hee. Which is what happened with Fox. Disney could have bought Fox for a lot cheaper, and they didn't. Because the head of Universal decided, I'm going to have me some fun.
Kid.
Yeah.
There's 3 comments that I like.
Yeah, go ahead.
For us to talk about.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay. We have this one. The positives. Well, this is one of the positives. The entirety of Friday the 13th film will finally be under one roof.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah, and maybe, this is not a granted, but maybe some of the legal battles could be at an end at last.
Yes.
And we could have more of the franchise.
Yes.
Now. Okay. You're coming.
No, I agree. I got nothing. I'm just like, look, Friday the 13th. I'll say this much. They got 2 choices. Because how many Friday the 13th movies are there? I think there's like 10.
They should stop at 13 just because.
That's what I'm thinking. They should just go ahead and go all the way to 13. Let's see what happens.
Right. Let's see here. Now, are we counting the series? I don't think we should.
No. Because the series doesn't have anything to do.
Right. So there are 12 currently in the including the ones with Paramount. Now, are we counting Freddy versus Jason?
No.
Okay. All right. So that brings it down to 11. And are we counting the 2009 reboot?
Yes. Well.
Okay. Yes.
Well,
No.
Hold on.
I don't know. Obligatory Monty Python reference.
Yes, it's always a good time to do that. I don't know. It can go either way. You know?
Yeah.
On the one hand, yeah, but on the other hand, nah. Look,
but no, but yeah, but no.
Okay, Real Popcorn Geek votes for yes. The 2009 reboot counts.
Okay.
Does anybody else see things differently? Do we
Right?
have a no? Do we have a no?
Do we have a no? I'm not as big a fan of the 13th series, so I can't really say. I just had to,
Wait,
I'm not.
If there has been a reboot,
are we back to number one?
And you want to end on 13? You have to start again.
That is true. Inherently, as a reboot, you are starting again. So
we need at least 12.
Yeah. So I
right,
give the point to Martin. We cannot. I'm sorry, real popcorn geek, but I got to go with Martin on this one. He makes way too much sense. It's you gotta you can't count the reboot. So
no, count it. But now we're lacking 12 more movies.
Yeah, because the 09 basically just reimagined. So is it its own series?
I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know. I would say if they change the primary lore, it shouldn't be counted.
Right?
Yeah. Because the Kelvin films, especially the 2009 movie, makes too many changes to Kirk's story that is different than what you learned in the original series.
Right. Exactly.
In the 2009 movie, I don't even think he has a brother. Even though the young actor walking at the side of the road when Kirk is driving the car, that's supposed to be his brother. But they didn't put that in the movie, so he's an only child. Right. So automatically, that's different.
Right.
So, yeah,
Well,
okay. Positive number 2, Paramount Plus and HBO Max merge into one service. Yes. And the size of that would put it right at Netflix. And
one Disney less fee for the users.
Yeah. To me, you can't look. This is going to sound bad, but you can't keep letting Disney Plus and Netflix sort of run roughshod over everybody. You need to have somebody else up there that can challenge. I like this. Okay. So, and what was the third thing?
A negative.
One less legacy studio. Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about that. Yeah. Again, it's one less legacy studio. And I get it.
Yeah, but at least this case in Disney acquiring 20th Century Fox, that's horrible because of the nature of the movies that make 20th Century Fox do not agree with the nature of the movies produced by Disney.
Plus, it took Disney way too long. To this point, they still haven't figured out that they actually not only own 20th Century Fox, they own their catalog. Because, again, you know how many of today's quote-unquote writers are big fans of Buffy, and yet Disney's done nothing with it. They own the entire Buffy verse. They've done nothing with it. I was saying it the day that the sale went through. Oh, Buffy's now part of Disney, and they've done nothing with it. To me, everybody currently working at Lucasfilm under Kathleen Kennedy, that's really what they want to be doing. Just like the people that are part of current Trek. That's really what they want to be writing. They want to be writing Buffy. If you're somebody that's just longing, you just love Buffy. you've been using a lot of Buffy type stuff and whatever you're doing right now and probably destroying it. You should quit your current writing job and get a job writing on the new Buffy series. That's what you should be doing. It's a waste of time and effort to not do that. You should go to work. In fact, I want everybody currently writing for Kurtzman Trek right now to just drop whatever they're doing, dust off your resume, and try to see if you can get a job working for Buffy. You're going to get paid for doing something that you really want to do, because you don't want to. You really don't want to be doing Star Trek. We've seen the best of what you got. You really don't want to be doing this. It's a win-win for everybody. Leave now while you can, or
And
leave
never
later.
come back.
Yeah, or leave later. When Iger starts to go through and actually get rid of people. So, another, positive though for this deal is that overall, you're going to have David Ellison's going to have a company that is going to have more talent signed, current big talent that is going to be signed under his company than just about anybody currently working right now. Okay. I think as of right now, Tom Cruise is still with Paramount. And I think Warner Brothers got Denis Villeneuve.
Good luck.
He's a talented guy. I think Villeneuve could. I think David Ellison could work with Villeneuve on a few things. I think.
Yeah, keep it away from Dune. God damn.
Oh.
I will never forgive nor forget that.
Oh gosh. Ouch. I mean, came out swinging on that one. Didn't even think about it. Oh wow. That kind of threw me off from what I was going. Well, yeah. Look, having all that talent, what that means is Ellison now seems to be interested in trying to keep everything going a particular direction, and his idea to bring back MTV is a good example of that. I think deep down he and Zaslav agree. If you're not using what you own, if it's not making you money, why do you still have it? And so Ellison is actively trying to restart things. And his plan for MTV, again, this is not going to be something that everybody's going to want to be a part of. But if you're someone that remembers what MTV was, you're going to like this. You're going to like this plan. And if that's what he's about, which I think it is, that's going to be nothing but good stuff for even some of the diehard things that some of the diehard IP that Warner Brothers owns. That's all. It's nothing but good stuff. Ellison is definitely going to be someone that is going to try to take advantage of everything that they own. And again, if he doesn't have to worry about CBS, if you've got Zaslav over at CBS bringing that to heel, oh, heck yes. This is nothing but fun. And as I said, 3 years ago, actually 6 years ago, since we started this, I remember telling Gary the reason why I pay so much attention to all this Hollywood business stuff, this is like freaking Game of Thrones, man. You're watching a lot of stuff happen in real time. You're watching a lot of money change hands, but you're also watching a lot of people do a lot of shady stuff. and I said, I mean, why get interested in like movie star lives and who they're with and all? Why even go for that? I mean, there's an element of that that's really just more about social media and playing to the crowd. I say follow the money, play that game, see how things going to shake out. You know, rich kid, uber rich kid gets a hold of a studio and starts playing the do as I say or get the F out game. I'm loving it. I'm here for it. You know. And again, he seems to be liking a lot of the stuff that I like. And again, I'm not saying that he likes everything that I like. I'm sure there are a few things that he wants to do that I'm not going to be down for. But overall, considering what's going on right now, I'll go with it. If it's going to save Star Trek, heck yes. If it's going to save DC Comics, heck yes. Because the current direction of DC Comics, no. And there's a lot of people that just they need to be doing something else. They really do. I'm not saying that they're going to lose their jobs. I'm just saying that there's going to be somebody else doing them. They're happy to visit that job anytime they want. I'm just saying that there just needs to be somebody else doing that particular job. That's all I got to say on that front. You know, DC Comics could be earning some money. And DC Comics alone, there's a lot of IPs that DC Comics owns that they're not even close to being able, you know, to seemingly want for any reason to work with. Let me give you an idea of what you could see David Ellison saying yes to. Camelot 3000. Right there. I can see that sparks something.
I'm trying to remember if it's the same Camelot. It's the same one I'm thinking of.
Yes, the comic. The comic.
Yeah, where did they gender swap Lancelot or?
Yes.
Okay.
Just adapt the comic.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it had one of the, I don't know, without spoiling it, a sword splitting an atom.
Yes.
Yeah, you know.
I think for those out there, Camelot 3000 was one of the definitive comics of the 80s that it's King Arthur. What if King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table were all reincarnated?
Mm-hmm.
That's the basic premise. So go on Amazon, find the complete story, and go ahead and buy it. I know some of you out there are probably looking it up as we speak. Trust me, they own this, and that would be fantastic as a movie. And again, notice no capes, nobody flying, but it's a property that they own. and an original story, I say that would look very good as a feature film. You know, DC, Warner, I shouldn't say DC because DC had nothing to do with it. Warner Brothers has been really good at adapting many DC Comics properties that are non-superhero related. So far, Kevin Feige, Marvel, and Disney have been very stupid not to try to do that. That's one of the things about DC Comics that makes it superior to Marvel in that respect. You know, they are willing to take deep dives into their catalog and adapt a few things. Marvel has an incredible catalog of characters and books and stories that they're not even close to doing anything with. And yet, for some reason, we're going to be restarting the entire MCU with a whole new group of actors playing some of the same characters that we already watched the first time around. You know, we're headed back around the same way. And what they're going to try to do is try to get a lot of you out there interested in what actors are going to be playing these parts now. And my response to that is, hey, wouldn't it be better just to go ahead and actually have more characters? Or even find different books to do. You know, here's a little something. I don't know what the legal issue is, but since it doesn't seem like anytime in the near future they're going to do another one, I think legally Disney can now do Men in Black. Because Marvel owns the copyright to the character in the comics, which is how Men in Black started. It's a comic book. But that's not the only thing they have. I mean, Marvel, like DC, but Marvel especially, went on a tear of buying several comic book companies. I think Marvel owns Malibu Comics. So the entire line of Malibu Comics they own. But Malibu's not the only company. Several other, I think CrossGen. CrossGen is the big one. For those of you that remember CrossGen, look up some of the comics they came up with, some of those ideas. Oh my. There are movies waiting to happen. And they've been sitting on this for years. I mean, you don't have to keep telling Iron Man and Captain America stories. You look at some of the stuff they have with Malibu and CrossGen. What I am saying is that Disney could actually make some money if they do a deal with Netflix, kind of like what they did with the Marvel stuff before. Do that. Take CrossGen as a whole, go to Netflix and say, look, we'll allow you guys to make this stuff and turn this into exclusive Netflix entertainment. I tell people all the time, I've been saying for years, look at all the stuff that Marvel and DC both own. Look at all of the IP that they have, not just their superhero stuff. Look at all of it. There's a lot of stuff in there. Now, the thing is, Warner Brothers was smart to start doing this years ago. That's where the red films come from. It's where the losers come from. Marvel has yet to get involved in anything like that. The closest they've come to something that is not an active Marvel owned thing was Big Hero 6. And that's it. There's a lot of... Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Which is a movie I actually frankly enjoyed.
Oh, I love Big Hero 6. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, no.
But, I mean, wow, there's some of that stuff from Malibu would make really excellent animated features, Pixar features.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, Tom, yeah.
Right.
There are a lot of these companies that popped up and did something for a little while and disappeared. A lot of them didn't just disappear. A lot of them got scooped up by either DC or Marvel. And so Marvel especially is sitting on a lot of IP.
Yeah.
That they could just do stuff with. You know, they don't need to keep going down this same road. They don't necessarily have to merge it in with the MCU. They don't have to go the Marvel Studios route. I mean, they don't have to go the MCU route. This could be a Marvel Studios project that isn't a part of the MCU. That's what I'm saying.
And, you know, the thing is that people keep on complaining about people not doing anything. What's the word I'm looking for? Original, but they have so much they could build with it would be original, you know?
Yeah.
And I can see this being a good thing on several layers, but my concern with anything corporate is that after a certain point, you are making decisions to please the shareholders and not the customers.
Yeah.
And that is problematic. Having worked at a small bookstore during the early 2000s, and it was a new age bookstore, so it was extremely niche. But watching as that bookstore stayed in business, has been around since the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and watching Borders, everything but freaking Barnes and Noble in terms of major bookstores go out of business because they can't pivot fast enough, they can't adapt, and they do not adapt to their customers' needs. Whereas small stores or smaller, they're going to do what their customers or what the audience wants, which is why I think we see a lot better independent stuff coming out than what the big studios produce in terms of writing and delivery, and seeing more and more IP consolidated under one roof. Granted, yeah, there are some tremendous advantages, but they would not have been advantages had they stayed. They would not have been necessary had they stayed with the original IP holders instead of getting sold off piecemeal like Spider-Man to Sony and things like that. So my concern is that we're seeing too much under one roof instead of these smaller studios being able to do what they want with what they've got.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to pay back $100 million investments. I remember when Waterworld came out, and that was like, oh my God, it's the biggest thing ever.
Yeah.
And now it's like, yeah, it's not considered a major movie unless you're dropping $100 to $150 million on it or something insane like that. So I see a lot of go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I see a lot of potential good, but you know, I have reservations.
Well, there's definitely going to be reservations no matter what company you're talking about. Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, Amazon pretty much has more money than most, although now that the Ellisons are in the game, you could definitely look at Bezos and say he's not the richest person out there now. Okay.
Right.
But Bezos is going to. Okay, look. Bezos has his own way of doing things, and I have to be careful how I say things because he's got control of bonds right now, and I'm not sure if that's going to go the right way. You know,
I can assure you it won't.
Just the almost evil way Martin just slides right in there to say that. It's true, though. Yeah, Martin's probably right. This is not going to go well. I'm not seeing anything that is an upside with any of this stuff. You know, at least with Paramount under the Ellisons, you could have at least had the hope that we were going to get Bond being Bond. But with Bezos and Amazon, I'm not sure we're going to get that. You know, given how negotiations went between the Broccoli's and Amazon, this is not going to be this is not going to be a comfortable position. Well, Real Popcorn Geek says, speaking of Amazon Studios, one of the original executives is gone. Yeah, I know. Not enough of them are out the door. But yeah, I know. There's quite a few people have basically decided to change their places of employment. But it just seems like a game of musical chairs, you know, with some of it. Some of the worst offenders are just getting hired by other places. Hey, Sentai, Ranger Donnie. Sup. Hope everyone is well. Who is ready for Disney Channel's upcoming original movie, Camp Rock 3? You know what? I would.
Does it have Jack Black in it?
I'm not a 12-year-old girl, so kind of not really.
So yeah, Camp Rock 2 came out in 2010. They're waiting 15 years. That's
Oh, Tom. Yeah. I don't know if I'll be covering 2025. I don't know if I'll be having to do that.
No. That's next year, baby.
That's summer camp for next year.
I don't think I'll be covering that, mainly because, you know, it's current. It's current. You know, we did Camp Rock for a specific reason. It was
we're doing pop culture archaeology here.
Basically.
2020 Dr. Jones. You know,
call him Dr. Jones, darling.
One of the best characters in that entire series. But when you're doing 2000 to 2025, that's not archaeology, that's anthropology.
Yeah. Now,
that's like current social studies. Come on.
I think I don't know if I can get this into the private chat, but I sent you guys something, and it's an example of where Warner Brothers could go. You're starting to see some.
Is it the D'Onofrio thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're starting to see some MCU people thinking about the future and hoping to impress upon Zaslav for right now that they could be very helpful in telling stories in the DC universe. So let's see. We have this story. Looks like it comes from X. And it's Vincent D'Onofrio, Kingpin from the MCU. And I think from X, where an account called DC Comics Fanboy asks, should Vincent D'Onofrio play Swamp Thing in James Gunn's DCU?
What?
Yeah.
And Vincent D'Onofrio, replying, says, yes, he should.
Okay.
Hey, look.
Oh my God.
I mean, I can get behind it.
Look,
Bring it
if
up.
you
I don't.
if you've been following what Doomsday and the whole mess of what they're making right now is for Marvel, yeah, you should be a little worried. Now, the current rumor is that this new story that they've magically come up with for Doomsday kind of changes what we originally heard about the film. Now, remember, they've been filming since April, but they've basically been shooting the breeze and filming action scenes that basically a lot of actors have been filming on green screen to try to get a lot of this stuff set up. They didn't have much of a story, and the people that they hired to write the original script are no longer the people working on it. They hired other people to write, and they're basically trying to write a script while filming stock action scenes that they hope to be able to insert into whatever script they're going to do for whatever they make as the movie. From what I am hearing, and I think this story came out yesterday or the day before, the current story that they are doing for Doomsday is that this movie is going to pick up at the end of Endgame. That's where the beginning of Doomsday is. And that basically, and this is, get this, you hear that truck backing up filled with money. It looks like what Steve Rogers did in trying to get himself that life is really what changed. Say what?
Fucked everything up.
Basically. And that they're going to try to use trying to get everything correct to basically make a massive change to the MCU. What I heard in translation is everything that happened in starting at the beginning of phase 4 with Black Widow all the way up is looking like it never happened.
That's a bold strategy.
It's bold. Would have been better if that had been the story from the very beginning. But what month is it again? Hold on. Wait. It's September, right? And you've been filming since April. You've already wrapped several actors. Everybody in this is getting paid. So you spent a whole lot of money on actors alone. If you're going to do this story, you know you're going to have to back up that truck filled with money to Chris Evans's house. Because you've now made Steve a major part of the story. He's not just going to have a cameo. Sounds like this movie's predicated on him. And if you're one of those actors that came in to the MCU anytime during that period there, yeah, it's about time you look for something else. you might want to look around and, I've been saying for the longest time that they just need to get rid of the guy playing Shang-Chi. It doesn't look like he wants to be there any longer anyway. They're not going to do anything with his character. Those of you who've been taking my advice and watching Warrior on Netflix, the lead actor of that was in Bullet Train and was in the movie Snake Eyes. This guy is really good at what he does. I would have hired him to be Shang-Chi. You don't need to be spending no $200 million essentially making a kung fu flick with dragons and magical fairy people. That is not Shang-Chi. $80 million? Yeah, go ahead.
Shang-Chi was basically a spy.
No.
In a lot of ways.
It's a story of a really pissed off son. That's basically it. He's pissed off at his dad. I've said before, if they took the character of Shang-Chi and adapted it into the Star Wars universe and did an alternate universe version of Star Wars, that's what I would do. Have it be that with all the new powers and stuff that Disney's added to Star Wars, the ability to force heal and you can travel distances and all this other stuff with the Force now. I would do an alternate universe version where Luke was actually raised by Yoda. And he's really not happy with what's been going on with old Pops and the Empire. And so he decides he's just going to take the fight to them. And he does. So you're basically combining John Wick with the Raid. And Luke starts taking out all these Imperial bases by himself. I mean, think of it. What you saw Luke do in The Mandalorian. Just think if he had actually been raised as a baby, as an infant, by Yoda, and how powerful he would be. And his ability to be able to walk into an Imperial base and just F stuff up. And he's doing it because he's trying to locate information on where Darth Vader is. Because he wants to take him out. That's Shang-Chi. That's Shang-Chi's story. His father is at the center of pretty much all crime on this planet, it seems like. He can't find him, so he's just basically, it's a reverse of the television series Kung Fu, basically.
Right.
He's traveling all these different places, but every place there's a purpose. A building that's being used as a front. He meets people, he gets to be friends with people, but he's actually there to get information about where his father is. And so he's using it to basically shut down all these illegal operations and just F stuff up until his dad turns up. You know, it's reverse Bourne. If Bourne were exceedingly pissed off and decided he's just going to go for all the people that ran the Treadstone program, and he's traveling the world trying to find the person who's responsible, he's going to go every different place. He's going to dig up every single agent, every underground, every front store, whether it's a bookstore, grocery store, whatever. He doesn't care. That's Shang-Chi. This stuff about dragons and the fairy people, that's what they added. That's what Disney added, because they were trying to get China's attention, tried to pad it a little bit so they can guarantee the movie would be a success in China. Side note, it wasn't. It didn't work. But you get the lead actor from Warrior. Yeah.
See, he would do, and having watched a few episodes of that, yeah, I think he would do a great job of Shang-Chi.
Yeah. And you don't need to be spending no $200 million. Just spend 80. Just spend what they spent for all the Bourne films.
Yeah.
Because it's basically the way the Bourne movies are not actually based on the books. The Bourne movies, from the way they look, looks like they took a lot of inspiration from the Shang-Chi comics, Marvel comics in the 70s. The way they shot those films, that's the way you shoot Shang-Chi. You get a crew together, you follow one man around, and you just see him just mess stuff up. Shang-Chi, baby.
Yeah, and you know, one thing I do like about the Bourne movies is the way they do their action sequences, their fight sequences.
Yeah.
Bourne is a brutal mofo.
Yeah, he is.
You know,
Tom Baker, question for Keith. Was David Carradine good casting for Kung Fu or not? He was good casting for a property that was stolen. Knowing what I know now, I like David Carradine as a performer, but I don't watch Kung Fu. I don't want to support anything that was stolen. I mean, that's part of the reason why Bruce Lee ended up where he did. And that's both a good and a bad thing up to a point. But what happened to him was wrong. I think we can all at least agree on that. What happened to Bruce Lee was wrong. And Warrior is an attempt to at least try to work a lot of that out. Carradine was not good for the story and the version of that show that Bruce Lee created. That's my answer. So
it becomes less of a thing about David Carradine, you know, being a choice, because that was kind of, yeah, the whole can of worms there, and more about what they did to Bruce in casting Carradine.
Well, they took the idea and modified it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Originally, it was going to be a vehicle for Bruce Lee as the lead. So you go from casting Bruce Lee to casting David Carradine.
Right.
Okay. I like David. He's no Bruce Lee.
Right.
And I hate the fact that, again, I can't sit here and criticize Alex Kurtzman for what he did to Brian Fuller with Discovery and not have the same consistent view about the Kung Fu television series when compared to Bruce Lee's original idea and the Warrior television series. I can't do it. Can't square that. You know, I've thought about this, you know, and again, I want to make it clear. People had to work. People had to eat. Bills to pay. I totally get it. I do not blame them.
Yeah.
I blame the guy that stole from Bruce Lee and bastardized the idea to make the Kung Fu television series.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I blame. David Carradine, I grew up loving this guy and what he did. I have, you know, a lot of good people were able to work on that show. A lot of good people guest starred on that show. I think Harrison Ford was on it once. He did an episode. I know Harrison Ford did Gunsmoke twice.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he did an episode of Kung Fu. A lot of people did episodes of Kung Fu. And given what the Warrior television series, where it comes from, and what its purpose is, and what it's attempting to do, I'm all for Warrior. I just don't watch Kung Fu anymore. You know, I don't do it.
Yeah.
Because it's just wrong. I know that in my own way I'm supporting theft.
Right.
Basically. And anybody that spends time in creating anything, a good story, how can you support the theft of that?
Right. Well, and there was a lot about it, about that particular show. My grandfather would always turn the channel when it came on, even if it was just something boring.
Yeah.
And I never understood why until, you know, I grew up a little bit and realized that, oh yeah, among other things, they had it was problematic that they were never using Native American actors to play the Native Americans. And he was like, you know, and the way they presented it, but again, you know, it was acceptable in the 70s, definitely not acceptable today.
Yeah.
So
and again, I'm all for unique takes and unique views. I know better now. I've done a little research. And again, I wasn't the biggest Kung Fu fan. As a small child, I enjoyed watching it because it was different. And it was the only way that you could probably get your, you know, with Bruce Lee being as big as he was in the 1970s, early 1970s, it's the only way that you can get anything like that. But now realizing, oh, it's because this is a Bruce Lee idea. It was his idea. And it got taken from him and corrupted into what it became.
Yeah.
You know, and again, I've said the same thing about Discovery and Strange New Worlds and all that stuff. I got no problem with any of the actors. They, you know, they're people that have bills to pay, families to feed, and all that stuff. I have no problem with any of the actors involved with any of those projects at all. I have never criticized any of them. You know, my problem is with the producers, showrunner, and especially Alex Kurtzman himself,
Mhm.
a guy who's had some legal issues. And I'm being very kind in saying some legal issues with taking other people's ideas. And that's as far as I'll go with that. If you want to know more, you can easily look it up.
Do you want to know
The
more?
Island.
Would you like to know more? This action no more intensifies.
The Island.
Now I know. Now I know the real reason you need me on here, Keith. I'm the comic relief.
No, you are creative. You are a
Yeah.
creative. You're an incredible example of someone who is creative for a living.
Mhm.
You know, it's not easy trying to come up with original ideas.
Oh hell no!
And for someone to come along and just take that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I will forever feel that way about Brian Fuller. You know, he grew up as a Star Trek fan. He wasn't somebody just pretending. He grew up that way.
Mm-hmm.
And he was living the ultimate dream that any Star Trek fan could live, being asked to create a brand new Star Trek series.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're a fan of something, I don't care if it's Gilmore Girls, I don't care if it's Knight Rider, I don't care if it's any TV show, Buffy, whatever, and somebody asks you to create a brand new version of it, of course you're going to be excited. And then to have it taken away from you.
Right.
And the way they did it, and the rumor as to the part of the reason why they did it, doesn't sit right with me. You know, for a company that likes to say that they are an ally of the LGBTQ plus community, from what I've heard and learned, a lot of those people, it's just what they're saying. And Brian Fuller, the reason why they let him go was because he was someone who wasn't like them in that respect. He's different compared to a lot of the people that worked at CBS and a lot of CBS programs.
Mm-hmm.
He was a fan. He was one of us. You know how you can get up, like for instance, I I'm assuming, you know, you own quite a few geeky, nerdy t-shirts.
Every time I'm on here, I have.
That's right. Okay. And let's say you've worn your share of geeky, nerdy headgear,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe a pin that'll signify something for a favorite TV show, book, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brian Fuller was always dressing like that. And that was one of the things I heard. They didn't like the way that he carried himself. They didn't like the way that he was. He was way too much like the people that they are trying to attract to work to create these programs, and not acting, in their opinion, like someone, or dressing as someone who's more, quote unquote, one of them.
Yeah. He was representing the audience. We can't have that.
Yeah, that's it. They really do not like us. I'm going to tell you that right now. A lot of people in the entertainment industry do not like us. They just expect us to show up and give them money.
Right.
And that's my problem with the MCU and Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige is a comic book fan, but he's a comic book fan that, in my opinion, has decided that the people that sign his paychecks and the company he works for are all more important than us. Which, when you think about it, yeah, technically, yes, it is. but you don't keep kissing up to us, or you don't keep going in front of us and acting like you don't know why this project didn't go. Why nobody watched this movie? I don't know what. You know why. let's stop playing games here. You know why. You know exactly why. You know, trying to act like you don't know and you don't get it, and getting other people to suggest that maybe the problem's the audience.
No.
I mean, no, it's always the audience.
But that's the game that a lot of people currently in Hollywood are playing.
Right.
You know, they since they don't know us, it's easier to blame us. Now, look, hey, it's Gary. And that's really something. Again, it's a good thing you're here. That's really something that Gary and I have been talking about for years. They see
about wearing dresses. Wait, what? Oh wait, what did I watch?
Gary, we're just jealous because we don't look as good in one as you do.
Hey man, I've got photos of me in drag. I'm pretty good.
Speak for yourself, Ben.
So hey,
I've never seen you in a dress, Martin.
Don't challenge.
No, I've never seen Martin in a dress, but I've seen me in a dress. I have photos of it from when I was on stage. But anyway, look, we're doing a show on Saturday, members only stream, and it's going to be dedicated to Graham Greene and Robert Redford to basically talk about their careers. And Keith, I'm hoping you'll be able to be there because I like you being there for those members only stream. But Ben, I thought I'd pop in here and see if you wanted to join us on Saturday morning at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. I love celebrating actors like this because you know, it gives me a chance to show movies to Anima because she doesn't know some of these movies, and so I go and get to show her movies. It's her first time watching some of these films.
Right.
Let me ask you, Gary, because we talked about this earlier in the show, and this will be your opportunity.
What's that?
What are your 3 favorite Redford films?
3 favorite Robert Redford films?
Yeah.
Well, 2 of them. We're actually going to be doing all 3 of them. Is Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid is number 1.
Boom.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Jeremiah Johnson.
I would have made 4th on my list. Yeah.
And number 3 is The Sting. And but I love a lot of other Robert Redford movies, like 3 Days of the Condor, which we've already done. And I fucking love that movie. And it's in my top 5 favorite films of all time with Robert Redford, and in my top 20 films of all time for movies, period. And it's just one great movie. But goodness gracious, a lot of people go, well, what about when the Washington Post movie? I said, oh, yeah, I didn't like that movie. Because I didn't like those guys. I thought, Woodward and Bernstein, I don't know much about Woodward, but I know Bernstein's a fucking liar. And, that fucking guy. I mean, when you get Bill Murray, when you have Bill Murray saying, after reading Wired, the biography of John Belushi by Bernstein, he said, quote, end quote, he said, after I read the first 5 pages of that book, I realized, oh my God, Nixon didn't do it. That's how bad that book was. They got no facts right. No facts were correct. And it upset him and a lot of the members of SNL that knew Belushi. Like, how could you write a book like that? So far from the fucking truth.
Yeah. So you hit 2 of my favorites and 1 of Keith's on your top 3 Redfords.
Oh, it's easy. Redford did so many great films. I like another film. I don't like his co-star, but I love The Electric Horseman. That movie's a great flick. I fucking hate Jane Fonda, but God, she's good in that movie.
Right? Yeah, as I say, I remembering when Electric Horseman came out, and
oh my God, and Rhinestone Cowboy became a hit, because of that movie. I'm a rhinestone cowboy. It's like,
Mhm.
fuck yeah, I love this song. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been
Um,
around for fucking ever. Yeah.
But we'll have to celebrate it because a lot of people don't know that he got his start doing a lot of small bit parts. But Twilight Zone
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
gave him a break,
Okay.
and he played Death.
Mm-hmm.
And he was coming for this little old lady, and she's so frightened of him. And he goes, "What's frightening about me?" Because he's dressed as a cop, and he's, just very friendly. He's like, and she's like, I don't, am I going to feel it? He goes, "Oh, it's already happened. You're already gone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just here to collect you." And I'm like, what a great episode.
That
Right.
is.
And it's one to really remember him on because now he's gone. And then we got Graham Greene, who I fucking love, man.
Yeah.
And you know what's amazing? He didn't start his career really until Dances with Wolves. And since 1990, that guy has done 108 fucking movies.
Yeah, and Redford's done about 50.
Yeah, Redford, well, that's where Harrison Ford got he learned.
Mhm.
Don't oversaturate yourself in movies.
Mhm. Right.
And so he had a rule of only doing one movie a year. That's why if you go to Harrison Ford's page, it's really like that guy's been
Chronologically.
around since the 60s.
Right.
And that's all he's got. Well, that's what he did. And he told Travolta that he was oversaturating himself
Mhm.
in movies. Ford
Right.
told him that. And he says, you need to slow down your career. You're oversaturating and you want to maintain your star power. And the way you do that is limit how much you're out there
Right.
and make them
Then you
want
have
you.
then you have Samuel L. Jackson, who's in everything.
Yeah.
Well, that's because when he
Guys in all these movies, Marvel, all that shit. And then he's also on TV and commercials for Capital One.
Right.
Well,
Man, he's just for the paycheck.
yes.
Yeah.
He's
It's a job.
he's been acting since the 60s. And
Right.
basically he'd been trying to make it work for so long that when his career finally did take off, and he had been in the business quite a while by the time it took off, I think he was just really just happy to be there, happy to
Right.
make whatever he could make. And I will never look down on someone who's tried so long and then they
Right.
finally get that
Well,
break.
Travolta had those ups and downs and with his career.
Yeah.
What should have been a big up for him was being in the movie where he and Christy Brinkley, not Christy, Christy Alley and the Babies with Bruce Willis.
Oh, yes.
That should have launched his
talking.
That should have launched his career in another, but then he did the sequels.
Yeah.
And
they were
killed
bad
his
sequels.
career.
Mhm.
Right? It's just sad. But anyway, I got to get going. I got to go get my I'm sorry, my prescription. So I got to get going, guys. I will talk to you guys later. Oh, waiting for Regarding Henry too. Okay, Shinatsky, you keep waiting, buddy.
AJ will get right on that.
All right, guys. I'll see y'all later, man.
All right. See you
Later.
Saturday, Gary.
Bye. See you,
Bye,
buddy.
Gary.
And now Gary slowly tries. There he is.
but again, it's just to get back to the question about kung fu. I always try to make it a point to support artists and to support creatives and to support people who, it takes a lot to put something original out there, let alone come up with original ideas. So when you get people that are greedy and that do bad things like that, my question is, how do you live with yourself once you find out that information? How do you square that with yourself?
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm here, on social media, and I'm saying all kinds of stuff about, Alex Kurtzman and other people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how bad would it look for me to go, yeah, but I really like Kung Fu. I thought it was great. It's like,
yeah, or I mean, there's a certain point where you have to, you can no longer divorce the creator from the creation.
mm-hmm.
or the creation from the creator, because Kung Fu was, that was especially egregious. And as a creative person too, I have to look at what do I support and what do I borrow from.
Yeah.
I can't just sit here and go, oh, this is okay, because no, I can't pull from that, which is why I will not. My family may be Cherokee, but I will not write a story from a Cherokee point of view as an example, because I don't have my grounding in that. I was not raised that way. I am not, I'm not there, and I can't, I can't take myself to that point. And it pains me when I see these writers and these creators doing exactly that.
Yeah. The other thing is I hope that also answers why I am the way that I am with a lot of the comics and stuff that are being done nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
That's my whole point. You are a temporary custodian of someone else's idea. If you get brought in to do something, you are temporary custodian. You're not the creator of the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, according to Akiva Goldsman, he can do whatever he wants, which is the reason why I don't give him anything. I tried watching Strange New Worlds, and I find it to be exceedingly increasingly insipid. I think all the actors do the best that they can, but they are being done a disservice by scripts that are not fit for grade school plays.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how I feel about it. It's just bad. It's just really, really bad. And now with Ethan Peck doing interviews about, I want to do Star Trek Year One. Well, you hold on to that, Sparky. You're a good actor.
Right.
But you hold on to that, Sparky. You just sit right next to that phone. David Ellison will be calling you himself and give you the answer that you seek. Okay.
Right.
But that's not going to happen. I would rather not see Akiva Goldsman try to basically remake the entire Star Trek series. I'm sorry. That's got to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And the very fact that he's going around talking like, hey, people really want to see this. Yeah. Okay. Let me think of an answer. F no.
Yeah.
I don't think so. That's just you. I mean, look, I'm sure the guy is a fan of something. Star Trek, I don't think so. I mean, he's just a step or two away from being as bad as Kurtzman. And that's really how I feel even about Star Wars right now. Outside of Jon Favreau, I can't trust anybody else. I think Gary will tell you the same thing. There's absolutely nobody at Lucasfilm that is truly a fan that hasn't been able to compromise their fandom in doing what they're doing.
Right.
And the only person that walks out of there clean, like what happened in the movie Dogma, the scene with all of those executives, Barnaby and Loki just goes off, starts killing all those people, all but one. Well, that's Jon Favreau. He hadn't done anything wrong. You're good.
Right.
That's it. The rest of them though, just not good. Not good. And they don't care. They don't care that they're losing all that money. But when you ask them about it, they are very quick to blame the fans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like, man, you people just are not good people. If that's how you feel about it. And Hollywood writers, current Hollywood writers who want to fit in, yes, they don't know how to write. But as a whole, no, a lot of them do know how to write. The problem is they don't know how to play the game. You know, a good example is what happened to Alex Kurtzman's former writing partner, Bob Orsi. I don't know who he truly pissed off, but to have an entire movie taken from him and then for his script to be not only rejected, but completely and utterly destroyed, and have a brand new script written from scratch that became Star Trek Beyond. Personally, I'd like to get my hands on Bob Orsi's Star Trek movie script, because this was the guy that was finally going to be left alone. And out of the 5 people who were running those JJ movies, he was the only one that was a diehard Star Trek fan, especially of the 1966 series. And he wrote a script that was criticized for being too Star Trek-y.
What?
That was the criticism. That's the reason why he was his script wasn't used, and his services were no longer needed before he could start work as a director on that movie. So they hired a different director, and they had a brand new script written from scratch with a brand new story. The story you got in Star Trek Beyond was created specifically just for that film and was not the original story that was being planned on. You know, just like the last Indiana Jones movie, Spielberg actually had a story. They had been working on the story, but Kathleen Kennedy and her people killed the story and decided to create their own story from scratch. That's what happened. And if not for Karen Allen giving that interview to the New Yorker, we never would have known that. She let slip that basically Spielberg had been for years working on a story and had kept Harrison Ford and her in the loop about progressing on the story, progressing in the script. Now, the rumor was, I think they were even considering having Short Round in the movie. But again, as I said, Kathleen Kennedy decided, I don't want to work for that Spielberg guy again, so I guess I would have been the only one in charge, so we won't use Spielberg's script. And she knew that Spielberg would bow out if you weren't using a script. Brought in a director that she could control and had a brand new script written. Finally got a chance to sit down and watch that. That's 2 hours of my life I'm never getting back. That movie was bad. I mean, it had certain parts of it that were very Indiana Jones-like, but Harrison Ford was, again, stuck playing a character that was younger than he. Harrison Ford's an old guy. And I often argued the character, whenever he's really played the character well, is when he's playing the character close to his age. If you have him playing a character younger than he is, it doesn't work out so well. And again, that last movie should have been set during the 80s. Just saying. Should have been set during the 80s. Because it would have worked out for Harrison Ford's age.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. We got a lot of oh geez. Let's see. Tree Rock Creations. Oh, okay. When large media outlets consolidate, their mergers create more milquetoast conformist content, which opens doors for alternative outlets like PCM. Here's the thing. The biggest problem right now with Hollywood is there are way too many tech bros running everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Hollywood, the way that it was, I'd say around the year 2000. Let's go back to that. A majority of the people who were running the major studios and other things connected to what we know as Hollywood are now no longer there. There has been a mass exodus of talent. What you have are a lot of tech-related people who actually think they're smarter than the process and smarter than Hollywood, thinking that they could waltz in and basically do whatever they want and make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they know how to make a lot of money, but they don't know how to keep people.
They don't know how to do it as a creative. So, and Ostennis, your comment actually reflects something I said earlier, is that when you get this kind of thing going on, you lose contact with your audience.
Yep.
But what you also said, Keith, it's on one of my pet peeves. And that is, you're talking about these tech bros coming in thinking they know how to do the job better than actual creatives. I see this a lot as creative people trying to be creative and not getting it, coming in and assuming that they're just going to revolutionize storytelling. They're going to revolutionize, they're going to do things that no one's ever seen before. And I get it. We try to be original. We always try to be original, but these guys, when they're coming in and doing this way, they are bringing in this idea that you can't be original unless you're doing something that's so edgy that no one's ever heard of it. And that's it's one of the things that will sabotage a creative so fast.
Yeah.
Because they're more interested in doing something that's original, and eggy, and coming in trying to be grimdark edgelord or something like that, and they forget how to tell a good story.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't. They're focused on the gimmick, not the story.
Yep.
And there's a reason we've been telling stories the same way since time immemorial, and it's because these are the things that we identify with as people. It's baked, hardwired into our brains, and you have to learn to hit those beats before you're going to get anything from anybody. In terms of getting your audience.
Rich. It's that. It's all of that. And then some. You have people like Tom Cruise that have been trying to, tell a lot of these guys. It's like, look, when it comes to those of us who are there and who benefit from this creativity, we need to show the audience some appreciation, because without them, you got nothing.
Absolutely.
You have absolutely. I know there are a lot of people out there that for years were used to laughing at that guy. you do have to realize he's the only one standing up and saying that.
Mhm.
You know, people work hard for their money.
Mhm.
And when you treat them so disrespectfully, where you are increasing the price of movie tickets, and yet, you know, you think nothing of forcing movie theaters to have to charge more for what they offer in terms of snacks and other things, because the studios are taking more and more of the gate money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it creates this loop of just very, very, very bad results that stem from all of it.
Yeah.
Things are never going to get better until people actually strive to make them better.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who have some original ideas, but a lot of those people are not going to go to Hollywood with those ideas because they know what's going to happen. You could have the most original story ever, and you hand it to any studio, and you give them a sufficient amount of time, and by the time you actually see the premiere of whatever you've made, whether it be a film or TV show, and it's the most generic, insipid piece of entertainment you'll ever watch.
Yeah.
That's what the modern day so-called people that are running Hollywood are doing. They are taking originality and turning it into just bland stuff.
Right. See, in Tree Rock, I think I agree here. Managers would never let writers do whatever they want. And that's modern management. That is a distorted view of management. When once upon a time, I actually did have to run a production floor. It was the most stressful job I ever had. And you know, here's the thing that I learned, and I learned from a very good boss, is that you have to learn where your experts are, and you have to learn to listen to them. A good manager basically is not a puppeteer pulling strings. A good manager is a cheerleader.
Yep.
You know, a good manager is the one who goes, no, I think the writers are onto something. Let's see what happens.
That's what happened with Disney and the Imagineers. You know, on behalf of everybody at Universal, I still want to continue on a daily basis to thank Kathleen Kennedy and quite a few people at Disney for making it possible for Universal to get their hands on a lot of the most creative people that Disney had, and allowing them to work for Universal in order to improve all their rides and basically give them next generation entertainment potential,
right,
at the very cost of Disney's business.
Well, and you know, the funny thing is that so my honeymoon at one point was at Disney World. We spent a week at Disney World for our honeymoon. And you know where we got half of our spending money was taking part in focus groups.
Hey, look, you guys are smart. You're making money while on your honeymoon. Look at that.
Absolutely, because we're like going, oh, focus group, let's go. They'll pay us $50, and I just like, and in the '90s, that was a pretty good chunk of cash. It also got us to the front of a lot of lines.
Look at you play that system. Jeez.
After the first one, we're going, hell yeah. But it was. But to go back to Tree Rock's, yeah, you're exactly right, Tree Rock. And I'm sorry if I'm messing the name up. But right now, managers have to have this feeling like, or have to have this approach of, we have to tell you what to do as opposed to support you in what you're doing right. And the whole idea of, because you get the best out of people when they're doing what they love and they have someone go and keep doing that. You know, and I think we have a backwards approach to this kind of management under a corporate situation, because it's always get more and more and more out of people and get to here, when I think a good manager goes, okay, so what's the next step from where we are? You know, what's the next step from where we are to do something better? You know, and stuff like that. It just is, and again, I think it's indicative of this corporate mindset that we have that has crept into everything, you know?
Yeah.
Which is one of the downsides, I think, to the current situation. Yeah, there's a lot of good potential for it to come out of it, but at the end of the day, that's my big fear, is that we're going to get that you know, that they're going to, Paramount and SkyDance are going to, you know, with Warner Brothers, are going to spend more time pleasing the shareholders than they are actually doing their damn job, and, you know, making something that the audiences love.
Guys?
Yes.
Yeah, we've been going quite a while, so
we are just under a shade under 3 hours at this point.
Well, listen,
and it feels like we're just getting going.
Yeah.
I just want to say to all of you who have been following and are still with us, if you started out with us at the beginning, I want to thank you for sitting through. Sitting through all of this, and I also want to thank Ben and Martin, because, you know, they are incredibly busy but really good guys who make sure to always show up here and make me look like I know what I'm doing. So
you only look like you only look like you know what you're doing because you do.
There are times, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Thomas. And again, I apologize if I mess it up the name, but I was taught by somebody who was smarter than me. So.
And that's the way to do it.
Right?
Play the guitar in the MTV. But anyway, look, again, if you really enjoy what we do and you enjoy what Ben does on this show, just remember to like, share, subscribe. Go ahead and tell your friends about the show. And if this is the first time you're watching this show, go back and hit some of the past shows that we've done. And really just come back next week, see what else we got for you. So on behalf of Big Ben, the Martin, and myself, I just want to wish everybody a good and happy day. See you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Matt Damon.